Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. When you get down to it, there isn't a single thing that can go wrong with Pokemon. To this day, there hasn't been a single bad game, only slightly worse than the last, and the ones that do too much fan pandering. X and Y. With every new game in this series, Pokemon does something that makes it even better than the last one. Hate on the 5th generation all you'd like, but it's still one of my favorites. Eventually, we reach a peak point with the series. The epitome of amazing. And with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon coming out later this year, I feel like now would be a good time to talk about Sun and Moon to compare them later down the line. Because you bet I'm buying Ultra Moon day one, and I'll review that too. Let's start with what Sun and Moon got right, and because Sun and Moon is hard to type, I'm just going to call it SN. I went into a small amount of detail in my top 10 favorite games, which you can click on right here if you want, but there's a lot more to discover about this game. How about the story? I can count in the high 20s the number of memorable characters from the Pokemon series. Gary, Red, Lance, Archie, Cyrus, Cynthia, and N are just some examples. Do we have that same level of memorability in Sam? Not to that extent, but yes. Characters like Lucamine, the Professor, Rotomdex, and How. Memorable for all the wrong reasons. But I'll talk about him in a bit. Let's talk about the new Pokemon and the Lola forms. Oh, do we have variety in here? You've got some of my personal favorites being Midday Lycanroc, Decidueye, Wishy-Washy, the Tapu's Alola Ninetales, and the sexy lizard one. Yeah, she's cool. Got some great stats and some other assets that I can't remember. The locations are great and easy to memorize, with Pony Island and the Battle Tree standing out more than anything else. The areas are well designed and look amazing, and I often find myself going back through the old areas just to see how they look. This game got nearly everything right that it could have. Well, nearly. Despite how cool some of the Pokemon look and how awesome the Z-moves are, it just makes the whole system even more complex. Now compare Shoom to Pokemon Red and Green. Over on one side, you've got holy shit, an explosion, Z-moves, he's Digivolving, whoa! While on the other side, you have, okay, so he's an ice type, and I have a fire type in the back of my party, but I know he's got a water move, so what to do? I'm not saying that complexity is a bad thing, as it does work in the game's favor here, but it's sometimes a simpler game system would have worked better. And then we have the worst part of the game, your rival, How. Okay, let me just say it. How is as bland as it gets, and Nintendo really dropped the ball on his design. Let's think back to all the other rivals in Pokemon. You've got Gary, who just wants to be better because you exist. Silver, who wants to overpower you and prove he's the strongest. Ethan and May, who just want to research and do Pokemon on the side. Barry, who's just kinda all over the fucking place. Sharon and Bianca, who just want to journey alongside you. Those guys from X and Y who did something. And then we've got How, who's just there. His backstory is he's a Kahuna's son and he wants to do the island trials with you. The only reason I remember him is because of one scene. One scene out of this entire game made this guy memorable. It was when you were on the plane and he goes,
You want him outsider?
That's it. He doesn't challenge you in any way. He has the weaker starter, only cementing the fact that he is not to be taken seriously, and he's too damn easy. In my final battle with Gary at the end of Pokemon Fire Red, all but one of my Pokemon fainted. It was Zapdos because I was a legendary using pleb. Throughout all of my battles with How, I didn't lose a single Pokemon. When you think about him story-wise, he's just there. He doesn't add anything to the scenes, and he does nothing at all to help out. Okay, How rant over. I just really don't like him. Overall, Som pulls through in all departments it should. It's easy to pick up, challenging when it wants to be, full of options, great locations, great story, great characters, mostly. I give it a 9 out of 10, just shy of a 10 out of 10. If How wasn't the character that he is, maybe add some more content to the post-game, easily 10 out of 10. Now I'll see you here when Ultra Sandwich comes out.